Hello, guys. Bob here for Tuesday Night Live. Thank you for showing up, being part of our program tonight. Do we have a great one lined up for you? Going to be so much fun, and more on that as we get started. Hope everyone had a fabulous, safe, and fun weekend as summer is officially just around the corner. With our days getting longer and the temps heating up, it is a busy time of year for all of us as we plan our outdoor summer events with family and friends. But Christmas season is never too far away. Tonight's guest lives in North Texas area and has been very busy during the Christmas holidays and can be seen all over the DFW area at holiday events each year and will talk more about these events with us tonight. We at Tuesday Night Live and TNL Network Productions on the road is super stoked to have her on the show tonight to share a big announcement. The opening of tonight's show is brought to you by North Pole Cornerstones, a new and entertaining 4-day educational experience. This is Tuesday Night Live. With only 44 days left till School of Santas officially is open for classes, there is this one guy who won't get much sleep over the next 6 weeks. He will be checking his to-do list, and checking it twice. And if he finds out Scott has been naughty, well, he might have to lock him in the reindeer barn for safekeeping. Icing Scott will assure that Rob won't be stuck without Scott's direction. Here's Spangle, the man that holds the key.
Hi guys, yes. Just checking my list. This is not the first time. This is the second time. So yeah, you're right. Scott's naughty in capital letters. Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Listen, I'm gonna ask a favor of you guys. We really need you, all of you that are watching it live or watching it in replay, share this and ask your friends to subscribe. We are 49 subscribers from the next step. 39 subscribers to the next step to get to the next level in YouTube. It doesn't really do nothing, but YouTube has different levels and you got to climb them. It's like going up a ladder. So help us get 39 subscribers. So tell your friends about us. Share this. Tell your friends, say, hey, you ought to watch this. It doesn't cost you anything.
Nothing at all except to pick up the mouse and click and you're done. That's all there is to it. Absolutely. Oh, you know what? Let's just go ahead and tell folks. Let me see if I can find it.
No, free's a bad word. That's like working for exposure, you know?
Yeah,
it doesn't cost you anything, but free.
I thought I'd throw that in there. It's been a while since I had it out. Okay, so at this point, let's go ahead and drag in, and I do mean drag in, the third party of tonight's team. That is Santa Scott Sarah in Oklahoma City.
Oh, hello, everybody. It's great to be here. Bob, sorry I couldn't make it down to Dallas tonight like I expected to. But, up here in my parts, we're having tornadoes and a lot of storms and high winds. And being that my kids are out of school, I felt like it was probably a better decision not to risk driving down to Texas and to stay home with them. So I'm glad I can make it here. And it's an honor to be here with you guys once again.
Well, Scott, don't give up, okay? Don't give up hope. If that tornado comes just right and it's got a good aim, you may end up in Bob's front yard.
Well, that's a good point, Stagel, or in your front yard because it's blowing
Or
that way.
Kansas, even. It could be Kansas. Well,
Yeah,
you know what?
Michael-
It's funny that you say that, or not funny, but it is true that you say that, Scott, because if you'll look at a national radar, this cold front, as they're calling it, which ain't a cold front, but the boundary is drooped across the United States from the Great Lakes all the way down to south of us here in the Metroplex. We're in all the counties north and west of us at this point is in a watch, and there are storms building just out to a couple of counties west of us. So, and it goes right through your area.
Well, I'd like to just make an announcement that I'm excited about and very proud of, if you didn't mind.
You're having a baby, yeah!
Natheo signed, my son signed today and is going in the Navy.
Congratulations! How about that? I know he's been training for that for a while in school, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, he goes to basic October 1.
Well,
And he is going to be a physician's, something to do with medical anyhow. But there was only 15 of those spots left in the country. Or in the Navy, period.
Is he going to San Diego or Chicago?
For basic, he'll go to the Grand Lakes or the Great Lakes. Yeah, and then he'll go to his training. That'll be 3 months, and then he'll go to San Antonio for another 5 months for his training.
Cool. Very
So
good.
I'm excited, and my hat's off to him. It takes a lot of guts to sign up and go on your own. So he's made that sacrifice for the country, and my hat's off to him, and I appreciate him. So y'all keep us in his prayers that he goes through that.
congratulations to Natheo, but fantastic job. Okay, let's say hello to the other part of our team. Everyone knows the world famous Angela Mack. She may pop in, she may not. No, she's just there she is, gonna holler, wave.
Well, Angela, we couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much for doing all you do and keeping us looking good on the screen and running like we're supposed to, supposedly. But I know that you're always having to pop Bob in the back of the head to straighten him out when he goofs up.
Yeah,
so thank you.
That's for sure. All right, we already mentioned that we need 39 subscriptions. That sounds like a lot. It is a lot in our terms. 5 seasons on doing these shows, we would have thought we'd been well above where we're at. But if we could just get 39 more here really quick, that'll put us, as Spangle said, in a whole different position with YouTube. And that's what we've been working towards for 2 years now, or 3 years. So anyway, go over, like, comment, and subscribe. I mentioned yesterday on the Monday show how important those are, and if you feel compelled and you want to keep up with our shows as they're posted to YouTube, you can always hit that bell so that you'll get the notification bell. All right, let's go ahead and move along.
Hold on one time. YouTube is the Tuesday night live show 1225.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, and Russell Ellison, naughty is the word.
Okay, first half of the Tuesday Night Live show trivia is brought to you by School of Santa's 2025. Boy, it's coming in like a freight train, and that is hosted by Spangle in picturesque Ozark Mountains, Branson, Missouri, where fun and education meet. We'll be right back.
Read about it reporting for TNL Chatterbox News. School of Santa's 2025 will be held July 17th through the 20th in beautiful, picturesque Branson, Missouri, right in the heart of the Ozark Mountains. If you've been before, then you know all about the 4 days of festivities that School of Santa's is best known for. Each year, the host facility, Americ Inn by Wyndham, Branson, and Conference Center, is home to over 100 Clauses for the weekend and is centrally located in the middle of everything Branson. If you have never attended SOS, what are you waiting for? You are missing out on one of the Claus community's premier educational opportunities. For more information on price and to ensure your place at the next School of Santa's, contact Tanya Lay at Branson Ticket and travel today at 800-432-4202. Again, that's 800-432-4202 and get registered today. I'm Read About It reporting. Now back over to you guys in the TNL studio.
Okay,
Well,
so, go ahead.
so well, can't wait. I mean, I hear that the shows are going to be even over the top this year, so I'm excited to come actually hang out with you, Spangle. So and I can't wait to see Rob and everybody else and the whole gang, and you know, it's a great time. So if you've never been to SOS, sorry to plug you, Spangle, but it's where I started, the first school I went to, and by golly, it made me a jolly old elf for sure. So that's why I'm Santa and I do what I do, because of the School of Santas. Would you say that's probably true, Bob?
Hey, anyways, I'd like to say that this trivia today, you're going to get your name in the hat for a scholarship for Cornerstones in Oklahoma. And then you'll also get your name in the hat for a scholarship for the School of Santas. Now, we've already drawn this year's winner. So now that has the names in the hat are going for 2026, which will be drawn in the end of May, 1st of June of next year. So anyway,
Drawing will be for the NPC, will be the last show of the season here.
in the little golden book, Elmo's 12 Days of Christmas, what does my true love give to me on the seventh day of Christmas? Also, who was the author and illustrator for this children's holiday book? So we're looking for 3 answers. In the little golden book, Elmo's 12 Days of Christmas, what does my true love give to me on the seventh day of Christmas? Also, who is the author and illustrator for this wonderful children's book?
Another fairly easy one. Everyone likes the little golden book series, and so check that out. Put in your answer, and good luck to everyone. Now we want to do something that's special tonight. This is something we haven't done in the past in the way that we're going to do it, but we have another guest that we're bringing in tonight. He is now part of the TNL network and Tuesday Night Live as a special correspondent and contributor. And we want to bring him in at this point. He has about a 10-minute story here with a few pictures and a couple of things we want to talk about real quick. But I think this is something that's very special and dear to all Santas, Mrs. Clauses, and elves, because we are giving, kind, and compassionate. Santa Doug, join us at this point, brother.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, Doug.
How you
So
doing?
the floor is yours, my friend.
All righty. Well, hello, viewers. I'm Santa Doug, and today I'm going to bring you a story that embodies the true spirit of resilience, generosity, and the magic of the Christmas community. Imagine being a beloved Santa, bringing joy to countless children, only to face a life-altering diagnosis. This was the reality for James Douglas, a Santa from Southern Indiana. In February, James was diagnosed with an aggressive facial cancer, leading to a significant surgery that involved reconstructing part of his jaw and a skin graft to his cheek. The surgery, while life-saving, left James with facial changes that made it impossible for him to grow his signature Santa beard. So feeling disheartened, he considered retiring his suit. But here's where the story takes a turn. Now, despite me not knowing James personally, Jim and I share a unique bond. We do follow each other on Facebook, but we're actually drawn together by our mirrored names. His name is James Douglas, and I'm Douglas James. I saw a post by Jim on Facebook this past Friday, and he was kind of down in the dumps because he might have had to hang up his red suit because he could no longer grow a beard on his skin graft. So I reached out to Jim, reminding him that Santa is about being in the heart and not the beard. And I suggested maybe embracing a designer beard. And since Jim has some financial concerns, I offered to share Jim's story on social media to maybe seek some support. So let me tell you how our community rallies together. Within minutes of my post, the Christmas spirit ignited, and our Lord prompted another Santa, Rip Lorick, to step in and answer the plea. He generously donated a high-quality ZM beard that he only used once. The act of kindness will not only restore Jim's appearance, but also his confidence to don the red suit one more time. Jim's story is a testament to incredible support within the Santa community and the broader message that the essence of giving transcends appearances. In a world often overshadowed by challenges, stories like Jim remind us of the goodness that exists when communities come together like our community. It's about more than just a beard. It's about identity, purpose, and the unwavering support kind-hearted individuals. Jim still needs some assistance, and his daughter has created a GoFundMe page that will pop up on the screen. He could also use some encouragement and prayers. So let's carry this spirit forward, not just during the holidays, but every day. Remember the magic of Santa, and more importantly, the love of Jesus Christ that lives and acts in the kindness of big and small acts. Stay warm, stay kind. Until next time, keep the spirit alive. From the TNL Network, I'm Santa Doug.
Thank you, Doug. We're gonna run the video now. It's just a few short pictures, but we kind of want everyone to get a visual of what Doug was just speaking about. Yes. Angela. I want to say thank you to Rip Lork for donating that. That was awful kind. And as Doug mentioned, it only took a few moments for that transaction to happen. Doug put up the plea and it was answered immediately. We want to say praise the Lord and thank you so much, Doug, for your contribution to the show. And welcome aboard, my friend. And we hope to see more of these kind of stories from you in the near future.
Doug, thanks so much for bringing such a wonderful message to the network and keep up the good work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for Rip actually doing that and giving with a giving heart.
You know, and by the way, I know that James is watching tonight. He's on, and James, get well, my friend. Take care of yourself, and you always know that you are in a brotherhood. That we all care about each other. We all have the same goals in mind, and if you ever need anything, reach out to any of us. We're there for you.
Almost had
by the way, Doug, before you go,
issues.
I was just going to tell Doug before he left, be sure and send Jenny our love. So, okay. All right.
Well, tonight's featured guest, as Bob mentioned, is joining us from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. But what he didn't tell you was where in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She is a performing Mrs. Claus and has the privilege of working with a number of Santas in various venues and as a standalone Mrs. Claus. She mentioned in conversation that her journey was unique. I kind of a dove in the water head first with zero knowledge, and it was sink or swim. She said she is here to tell you about this journey. Please give us a warm welcome to the Evergreen Queen, Trish Viszneki.
Hey everyone, I am so happy to be here with all you guys, and thanks for having me. I am just honored that you have me as your guest tonight.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you over here at the Casa, you might say. And, we talked about the storms and things. Hopefully they'll hold off and you'll be able to get back home safe before they come rolling in too hard. So, we got a lot to cover tonight.
Yes,
you and I worked on the script for about 3.5 hours, and I put another couple of 3 hours into it after this. So this is going to be a good show. Everybody stay with us. We're going to get started right now. And my question is, well, first I'm going to say hi, Trish, but I've already done that. So, and we're glad to have you here. So my question is going to be that, I know that coming here was something that you wanted to do.
Yes.
You wanted to come over to the house. Dr. Bruce had set a precedence. Nobody had ever came to the studio. So we just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come over. And I'm going to kick it over to Spangle for the first real question.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, during the first season, you was performing as an only Mrs. Claus with 4 Santas, but they were in a different area. The event organizer came to you with a request. Can you tell us more about that portion of your story?
Oh, okay. Well,
I skipped over.
actually, I'm gonna start with I'll go ahead and start with.
Well, you can start with what I was going to ask her how she got started as Mrs. Claus, and I kind of skipped over that. But let's go ahead and start it from there, and then you can go right into Spangles.
Okay.
We'll roll them both into one.
Alrighty, so let's do this. I'm gonna tell my story about how I put on that first red dress. So it was 2022, and it was Christmas time, and I thought, you know what, I need to make some extra money, buy some more presents for my grandchildren, and I thought I'm gonna get myself an extra seasonal job. And I'm sitting at home, and I really didn't want to do the retail thing, and I'm thinking, what kind of job can I get? And I happened to run across a casting notice, and it said they were looking for someone who could sing and read stories. And I thought to myself, well, done karaoke. I think I can carry a tune, and I can read stories because I've read stories to my grandchildren. So, what the heck? I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. So I decide I'm going to go ahead and apply for this thing. I go ahead and I send them my information, my picture, and they call me and they schedule this audition for me. I'm thinking, what the heck, what do I have to lose? So I go, they send me the script and tell me what I need to prepare. And I go in for this audition, downtown Dallas. I walk in and there's all these actors, of course, right? And here I go walking in there and thinking, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this, And I go into the room and there's 4 casting people sitting behind the desk. And I get up and I sing my 2 songs. And then it's time to read my my lines, So I do this scene, and the scene was supposed to be Mrs. Claus. It was Christmas Eve, and Mrs. Claus had just finished getting Santa off in the sleigh and the reindeers, and they had taken off to go deliver the toys, and the elves were all taken care of, and she was ready to sit down and relax for the evening. And first of all, I gotta say, I had decided to model this character after my mom. Okay, so here's a little story here. In our family, we always had these large Christmas holidays, and we would get together with all the cousins, and my mom was always famous for making pumpkin pies, and she'd make, oh God, I don't know, 50 pies probably, because she not only made pies for us to eat on that particular day, she made pies for everyone to take home. Well, we had a lot of kids in our house, and she was busy, a busy mom, and inevitably she would burn pies every year. So I decide, okay, in the scene, this was supposed to be the closing of the scene where Mrs. Claus sits down and she's ready to relax for the evening. Sit down and she's going to say, oh, I'm so done. I've got, Santa's gone and all this and that. And I decide, how am I going to close this scene and make it fun? And I sit down in the chair, and, the casting people are sitting there, and I jump up and I run across the room and I'm like, the cookies are burning. And they all started cracking up, laughing their heads off. And I was like, okay, I made them laugh. That's a good thing. So, because typically in a casting office, if you make them laugh, that's a good thing. I mean, of course, unless it's a dramatic role, right? But anyway, so I kind of felt like I did a good job, and they said, okay, you know, they gave me some really positive comments, and I left there thinking, gosh, I don't know, I kind of think I did good, you know, but you never want to think that because, you know, you don't want to jinx yourself. And so I go home and I'm thinking, I don't know, I don't know if I got it, but you know, you're thinking and thinking. So 2 weeks go by, and lo and behold, the phone rang and I got the offer, and that's how that was my audition for my first job.
Yeah, she went in there like she knew what she was doing and she owned the place. So
Well, you know, here, my philosophy, and I was telling Bob on my way over here, believe it or not, I may not look like it, but you know, I am nervous. I was telling Bob, my philosophy is feel the fear and do it anyway. So that's how I handled that, and that's how I'm handling this. And believe it or not, I'm gonna do it. But so anyway, that's what I did. I did it, and that's the first job I got as Mrs. Claus. So anyway, I took that job, and Spangle's question. So I go here, and you know, ignorance is bliss. I really did not know the magnitude of what I was getting myself into, because the job that I auditioned for was for Enchant. And if you have never heard of Enchant, it is the largest light show in the world. And it was being performed at Fair Park for, they have thousands of people that go through there. Enchant is performed in major cities across the country. And anyway, I was like, okay, you're here, let's do it, you know. So they had 4 different Santas there, and they had them in 4 different rooms. Of course, the kids didn't know they were in 4 different rooms because they were behind closed doors. And I had my own area, and so the kids would come and see me, and then Santa was around the corner, and they would go through different doors to see Santa. But anyway, the event organizer tells me, so here's the next part. They tell me, we want you to put on a 15-minute show on stage. Okay. So I had to create my own show, and so I decided, okay, what can I do? So I decided, well, you know, I always think like a grandmother. What are the kids going to enjoy? So I decided, well, you know, I'm always dancing in the living room with my grandkids. So I did dance party with Mrs. Claus. And I would get up. I asked the event organizer, can I have 2 elves on stage with me? Because at least I had some kind of moral support. So she said, yeah. And every night we would put on a couple of shows. I would do story time on the hour. And then I would have to get on stage and do a 15-minute show, sing a couple songs. I'd bring the kids up on stage with me and for a couple of the songs and dance with them. And the parents loved it because, you know, the kids are on stage and they're taking their pictures and all that. And then in between all that, I would have to walk around the park and take photos with the guests and mingle and tell jokes and that kind of thing. So, I mean, that was my introduction to being Mrs. Claus. And I like I said, sink or swim, pretty much learned a lot of it in my very first job.
seat of the pants. And this is a great story because think about it, guys. I mean, so many of us, when we get the first gig or we're thrown into the fire, you know, you're nervous as you can be. She went in there and she nailed it. I mean, and they loved it so much, she got the job, and it was a sought after job. Enchant, they've had these events in 3 or 4 different major cities. I know when they launched that, and you actually worked with other Santas.
I worked on Russell Hurd, Boomer Chandler, Kelly, I can't think of his last name. And then there was one other one I can't think of. Anyway, yeah, there were.
But she was the only Mrs. Claus, so I mean, and
Well, actually, there was one other Mrs. Claus, but she didn't perform. She was actually there's a long story behind it, but she was the stage manager's wife, and she is not a Mrs. Claus. She doesn't do it at all. She's a school teacher, and so she would come in. She was like the relief, and
Yeah.
she didn't do any performing. She just read stories.
But y'all didn't perform at the same time, so
No, she was there when I wasn't there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what I was getting around to was you was with Four Santas. Of course, their role was to be in the chair and see. There were so many people that they had them set up where they were working together, but the families only saw one of each one, so they didn't know there was other Santas there. You were the only one, and you was up in front of the crowd, and you had to come up with that 15-minute program, and she nailed it. She nailed it, guys.
It was fun. I had such a blast there, and that's where I really discovered how fun it was, and how much I loved being with the kids, and interacting with all the families. I mean, that's where I realized, that this was Mrs. Claus was just such a calling, and I loved being with the kids and just being with the families and enjoying, and what it was truly like to be Mrs. Claus.
Right. And Ray Bradshaw, who is here in North Texas with us, also up in the Denton area, you and he worked together at Lisa Renee's photography, and he gives you a shout out here. And
Hey,
says
Ray.
Trish is amazing to work with.
Oh, thank
And,
you.
He said that more than once. Trish is an amazing professional. So
Thank you so much. I work with him. I actually work with photographers, and I've worked with Ray lots of times. We work with a wonderful photographer here in Dallas, and he's one of my Santas, and we've done some really, really fun shoots together.
Well, Trish, what would you say was the one thing that you wish you had known before you got your very first professional job as Mrs. Claus?
Well, actually, okay, so before I started being a professional Mrs. Claus, I went out and bought so much stuff. I mean, clothing items, items to hand out to the kids. I spent a lot of money on things that I didn't end up using. So, I mean, I think because the path that my Mrs. Claus journey has taken, I do large events. I don't, in all the years that I've been doing it, I've only done one home visit. All the other times I've been doing large events. So, and at large events, you're not permitted to give out things, like candy canes or little toys or trinkets or stickers, that kind. You're not
Spangaloms.
Right. Unfortunately, Spangle, I can't put you in business here. You know what I mean? But Spangle stuff is really good, for all you guys. But for me, the vendors that I work for, or they can keep him in business. But anyway, I went out and bought all this stuff, and I can't really use it. So I think if you're new to it, you probably have to find out what your niche is and what type of events you're going to be doing. Because I wish I had known, because I ended up with all kinds of stuff. And then as far as like clothing goes, also, I ended up with so many clothes that I can't use. And fortunately, at Santa Family Reunion, just recently in Gatlinburg, they had a thing called Swap and Sell, where luckily I was able to take a lot of my clothing that I had never even worn. So I was able to downsize there, because otherwise, I had a closet full of clothes I never even put on. And so it was kind of, honestly wasted money. So I wish I would have known that, before I got started.
No, we can all relate to the story of buying too much and having too much in our closet. I know I sure can. Trish was telling me that story, I said, "Hey, I'm right there with you. I got so many vests and shirts and things that I may have worn, once or twice or three times, but I was just in the same boat that she's in. When you get into it, you may be going in one direction, but sometimes life journey changes and sends you in a different direction. And for her, it was into larger events. For me, it was into mall work. So, and then you find out that's your niche. That's where you want to be. That's what you do. It's like being an actress on a movie or a show, and you cast as a certain character, and then Hollywood looks at you and that's all they want to put you in is the same kind of role. It's kind of the same way with us. We kind of fall into a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay,
Well,
let's see.
I choose not to talk about purchasing clothes and wardrobes. I just choose not to. Period.
Well, did you want to show the boots?
They're in the other end of the house, but
Okay.
I will.
You get them at halftime. We'll show them after halftime. Okay.
Yeah. But hey, Trish, what was the most important lesson you learned at your first gig, and what was a couple of the things you wish you had done different?
Okay, well, because I was doing the dance party, kids get really excited, especially like when they see Mrs. Claus, and I would invite them up on stage and they'd run up there all excited and dancing with me and, get rambunctious. And so I had to learn how to, calm them down, rein them in. Exactly. Let's reel those kids in. And, meanwhile, stay in character and do it in a calm and loving, nurturing way as Mrs. Claus, and just make sure that they stay safe, and meanwhile making sure that they continue to have fun and that they know that they need to listen to Mrs. Claus, but Mrs. Claus loves them and they're going to have a good time and just stay happy.
Yeah, and safety is the first thing we got to think about as entertainers. They could trip very easily, fall off the stage, hurt themselves, and then liability is there. And we certainly don't want any child to get hurt. And again, a lot of events, not in your case, but a lot of events for me at the mall, I have a set manager and a crew, and so it's not up to Santa really to calm them down. There has been a few times I've had to say, "Hey guys, come over, settle down a little bit," but it's nice to have someone at an event to be able to do that for you. But if you do have to do it, like Trish said, do it gracefully. Do it in a Mrs. Claus kind way. But hey, I think it's something that we've all probably faced at one time or another at an event.
And then as far as different, I wouldn't have done anything different because I loved it so much. I mean, well, wait a minute. Okay. There is one thing. Okay. I really took that job too serious. I got to tell you one thing I did. Every day before I went to work, I guess I thought I was Mrs. Claus because I was baking cookies every single day and taking them into the elves and the Santas, right? By the time that job was finished, I don't know. I think I gained like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Big mistake. I would never do that again. So
Russell got the other 20 pounds.
Yeah. Russell got some of those cookies. Let me tell you.
He was standing on those cookies from what I understand.
Yeah, he got some of those cookies, but I wouldn't. That's the thing that I would do differently. No, I'm not baking any more cookies.
I like cookies.
Me too.
There you go.
I hear mine are pretty good. Maybe I'll make some for you, Spangle, but right now I'm on a diet, so
I'll give you my address.
There you go.
Now, Trish, you've been blessed to have landed some great roles as Mrs. Claus. Can you share some of the notable gigs you've had the pleasure of working?
Well, actually, yes, I have been tremendously blessed. I really, I mean, I'm so fortunate. But I got to tell you, one of the reasons I've been blessed is I work with some really good agents, and they've been so good to me. So I got to mention them.
Okay, go right ahead.
I work with Mitch Allen and Jenny.
So we all love Mitch. Mitch is up there.
They're with Hire Santa. So, really great agency.
And Jenny.
Yeah, I said Jenny. I love Jenny. She's great.
talent coordinator.
And Sharon Hodges at Funtime Entertainment.
Yeah, she's here in North Texas. Also, I worked with her for a couple of years. She was working at Funtime at the time. There was another performing Santa Mrs. Claus that owned the business. They were also professional clowns and did all kinds of different entertainment and events. And Sharon ended up buying the business from them, and so we worked together, not for her, but Trish has had the pleasure of working with her. I know lots of folks here in North Texas that has worked with Sharon. She is up there also. She pays well. She makes sure she gets good gigs, and she'll never put you in a position that you're not comfortable with or not safe in. All her stuff is really, really good.
And I also work with Gina and Tony Bacon from Nationwide Santas.
Absolutely.
They're also really
Bacon's
good.
always Smigel.
And
we love her. We love some bacon.
I don't mind, can't mention all of them. I have a couple others, but those are the main ones. And I'm thankful for all of them. They send me on some really good stuff. And some of the things that I've been, okay, first of all, I'll mention a couple parades I've done. I love doing parades. Oh, I mean, it's just so fun. Who doesn't love a parade environment? Yeah, exactly. I know.
Wave and smile, boys. Wave and smile.
Exactly. And then I'll be like, sorry. I mean, come on. I love parades. I've done the Waxahachie parade. I work with Don down there in Waxahachie, and the color parade. And then, of course, when you do parades, you also do the tree lighting and,
that is an advantage.
And photography and, that kind of stuff. So that's a lot of fun. So I've done those two parades, and I did a little local parade here too, the Lakewood Fa La La. Well, I did that event actually. I shouldn't say I did the parade. I did the event there. And the Great Wolf Lodge in Grapevine. By the way, if you have never been to Grapevine during the holiday season, I don't know. If you're not here local in Dallas, if you ever come to Dallas during the holiday season, you cannot miss visiting Grapevine. It's the Christmas capital of Texas. And it's just so quaint and it's beautiful there. Have you been there?
The downtown area especially still has a small town feel to it.
Yes.
It has an old school feel to it. You've got the train that runs right through the middle, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But you've got Gaylord, and you got the Great Wolf. You've also got a couple of Hiltons there that are big. And what was the other one that we looked at, Scott? That we talked to? No, it was Embassy, wasn't it?
Embassy Suites, yeah.
Embassy Suites. Those are all large. But the Grapevine is unique because it sits right on the Tarrant County, which is where Fort Worth is, Dallas County, which of course is Dallas, and Denton, where Ray Bradshaw is Denton County, and DFW Airport sits right straddling those three counties, and Grapevine is right at the north entrance to the airport. It's a great location. They've got a really nice, really nice lake out there. One of the high-end lakes in the area. But yeah, she's right. If you get a chance, and you don't really have to do it during the Christmas time.
Anytime.
It's one of those 365 days a year you can go there and enjoy yourself. So much to do. Now, we've had a couple of our eat meets out there at Tolbert's, and always a great place, always fun. But let's go on to the next quick. Are you through?
No, but I can be.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, and I've also worked at the Dallas Galleria, the North Park Mall, the Colony, Nebraska Furniture. I did Coca-Cola Classic at Choctaw Stadium. Lots of country clubs, that kind of stuff,
But that's all high-end stuff. It's a lot of us are happy we get one or two of those in a career, and you've been able to actually make that something that has come to you and continue to get those kind of gigs. Now, you did mention a couple of others to me when we were talking, earlier. The Arboretum, which everyone knows about the Arboretum, but Dallas has one of the top arboretums in the nation. And then you mentioned Grapevine. We have the Grapevine Vintage Railroad. Now, what's cool about the railroad, and we'll go back to the Arboretum in just a moment. What's cool about the railroad is there's a lot of different folks in the Christmas community that is employed up there. You got Barry Swindle that works there at the train station and has from the conception of the Polar Express. You got the Polar Express, which is what you guys worked on. I
Mhm.
think Betsy was on there with you.
Mhm.
And talk about some of the others and then go back to the Arboretum.
Yeah, the Grapevine Vintage Railroad it was so much fun. I mean, it's decorated so beautiful there, and the train ride is just so much fun. And it was particularly special to me. My grandchildren came to see me on it, and I have to mention this because I have just a special place in my heart for I have an affinity for trains because when I was a little girl, I grew up around trains and railroads. My my family goes way back with this. My grandfather and my uncles were engineers on the Pennsylvania Railroad. So as a little girl, I was around it a lot, and so sometimes as performers, we take jobs for various different reasons. Maybe it's money, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, and we make anything from our salary ranges.
Yeah.
And this is a job that I took purely because I wanted to do it. I just for the nostalgic feeling of it. And I loved it. It was so much fun, and I can't speak more highly of it. The people were great to work with. Not only the Santas and Mrs. Clauses from our community, but also the people from the Grapevine City Hall that were involved in running that, the director that ran it, and it was just a really great experience. Yeah, and I would highly recommend it. I also think that it's a great starting point for a new Santa to.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And who doesn't like Polar Express? I mean, how much fun is that? And you mentioned about it being decorated. Grapevine goes all out at Christmas time. Absolutely all out. So it's a great environment and a fun place to work. Now, there was another place that we talked about when you was
Arboretum.
no, well, we didn't. That's what it was. We didn't cover the Arboretum, so go ahead and talk about that. I have something.
Yeah. Well, okay. If you live in Dallas, we have, like I think Bob mentioned earlier, we have one of the most beautiful arboretums in the country, and they go all out for every holiday. I mean, if you've been there for Halloween, beautiful, beautiful. Christmas, they have the Christmas village with all the different houses, and so anyway, I did a private event there that was for an international law firm, and it happened to be the world's largest one of the I read about it, said the world's largest law firm. I don't know. I think they flew these attorneys.
No way, it was a big one.
Whatever it was, I mean, I'll tell you. Okay, I mean, you got to think. I've done enchant, I've done this, I've done that. But let me tell you, this event at the Arboretum was fantastic. They had everything you can imagine: ice sculptures, snow, Santa and I in the sleigh, photography, food, drinks. Oh, I can't even I can't think of anything that they didn't have, but I got to tell you a story. So, and when you're talking about snow, some places they'll have snow come down maybe every half hour. There'll be a few snowdrops here and there, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, this place had snow constantly. And Santa and I were there was a snow machine right behind us. And the guy that was running it, he said to me, when we first sat in the sleigh, he said, is that snow bothering you? Let me know if snow, is bothering you. And I had just sat down. It felt okay to me, and I'm like, oh no, it's fine. Well, let me tell you, after sitting in that sleigh for a few hours and breathing that snow in all night long, at the end of the night, I had snow in my throat, snow up my nose, snow. Oh, so my advice is just know that it can be difficult if you're like sitting in a sleigh with snow coming down all night long. But other than that, that event was fabulous. And I really have my fingers crossed that I get to go back there again because I absolutely loved it. So I'm putting it out in the universe. And I think Mitch Allen, if you're watching, I'm waiting for that gig this year.
She was blowing bubbles at the end of the event. She was actually a human snow blowing machine.
Oh, yeah, it was. I mean, I felt that snow inside my head. Like, oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, my first couple of years at the mall, we had two machines that was on the opening. I'm on the lower level, and there's an opening above my set, and they placed them up in the corner, so it was blowing that over, and it was set to come on every 2 hours on top of the hour. But I'm with you. It gets so thick coming, especially through the machines. It covered our keyboard, it covered our computer screens, it covered our suits, and you got to watch this stuff. It'll mess your suits up. It'll literally mess them. It'll stain them. So got to be careful there.
Yeah, I was lucky. My dress was okay, but boy, it was.
Anyway, I'm sure Mitch will see this and he'll be calling you soon. Okay, so let's move along, Trish. You got to be part of a very special event that took place in Galveston, Texas. Speaking of Mitch, I'll turn it over to you and let you tell it.
Yes. Speaking of Mitch Allen, Mitch did an event. He was on television on a show, a very, very popular show called Shark Tank. And a couple years back, he did an update episode of Shark Tank. And he invited some of us Santas and Mrs. Clauses to go down to Galveston, Texas, to film the update show. And for those of you that don't live in Texas or don't know what Galveston is, it's a beach town. And we filmed at a beautiful hotel. It's called the
Was it a Westin?
The historic hotel down there, the Grand Galvez, Grand Galvez, and it's absolutely beautiful. It sits right across the street from the beach, and we just had such a ball down there. And yeah, we filmed an episode of Shark Tank, and just had a blast. But I don't know how many of us were there, but
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Bob, I guess you and I regret not going, huh?
Yeah, we do. We wish we.
But we got invited too. I just didn't go.
Yeah, we both had something going on and we couldn't do it. So maybe next time. Maybe next time.
I hope there's a next time because it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I think this is the second or third update that he's done since he was on the original show.
I think it was the third update because I think they did one when they weren't walking around New York or something.
Yeah. The second one, it was in Times Square.
Yeah. So this one was the third one.
Coast
yeah, exactly.
In the Hollywood area.
Trish, when you were a young girl, what was your very most favorite gift Santa ever brought to you?
Okay. Well, first of all, I got to tell you, I did not come from a wealthy family. We were a family of very modest means, to put it like that. So, my mother would go and we had a lot of kids. But I got to tell you, on Christmas morning, that tree was filled with all kinds of gifts. But little did we know, my mom bought 90% of our gifts came from a place called Pick and Save, which, if you're not familiar with that, it would be more like the dollar store. Yeah. But we didn't know the difference. We were so happy. We didn't care. We had all these little dollar store gifts to open. But I do remember, and I don't even know, because I've seen pictures of being a little girl, and one of my older sister and I, we're complete opposite. She was blonde hair, blue eyes, skinny, and I was this little chubby, brown hair, brown eyed, and we always got the same thing, but her baby doll was always blonde and my baby doll was always brown haired. And we have these pictures of us with our baby dolls with our buggies. And so of course that's one of my memorable gifts, you know. And then so that's one of them. And then the next gift that I remember that I wanted really, really bad, I was around 11 or maybe 12. And it was those white go-go boots from Nancy Sinatra. You know, these boots were made for
Ready to
walking.
walk in. That's just what
Yeah.
they're going to do.
And I got those go-go boots for Christmas. And that's it. Those are my 2 favorite gifts.
It's pretty cool.
Well,
pretty
did
cool.
you or your siblings ever go to see Santa at a department store or mall?
And that's another one. I got a picture of me and my older sister. And honestly, it was the real Santa. And I'm telling you, it really was the real Santa. And you know what? It was from, it's a picture of me and my sister sitting on Santa's lap. And back then we were living in, I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it was at a store called Gimbel's. And back then, we had an actual gift box, you know. It wasn't a candy cane that they get now that we give these kids nowadays. It was a box. I don't remember what was in it though. I should remember that, right?
I think you would, yeah. But
yeah, I don't know. But
cool.
My sister and I are holding these boxes, and we're sitting on Santa's lap, and it was a real bearded Santa. And I'm telling you, I gotta find that picture, but I'm gonna show it to you guys, and you tell me if he's not the real Santa.
Well, my question is, could you, now that you've been in the community, could you pick that same Santa out of the lineup?
You know, now that I'm in the community, it's really hard to pick out the real Santa.
But, you know, and she mentioned this to me in our phone conversation the other night. You know, as a child, and we all have experienced this, as a child, you get an image in your head of what you think the real Santa looks like. It's just your image in your head. It may be from, you know, one of the movies. For us, you know, old school people, it was Miracle on 34th Street. Many of us looked up to that look. Nowadays, you know, Tim Allen and even some of the newer movies since then with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. I mean, so it just depends on what your image in your head is. And she told me, she said, that was the real Santa.
Oh no, but I'm telling you seriously, you guys, I'm serious. This is the real Santa. My whole life, every time I looked at this picture, even now, I look at him and he's the real Santa.
Scott?
You got me tickled now. I'm sorry.
Scott, I'm going to show you this picture.
Okay. All right. Trish, you being a California girl, before getting to Texas as quick as you could, your background was in entertainment, but not for you as a performer. Tell us about those formative years in the industry.
Okay.
Real quick before you start, this is kind of a clue to how she knew how to go in and kill it for that audition. This is part of the story she didn't tell a while ago, and we're going to pick it up from there. Go ahead.
You need to get a comment from her sister.
Okay. So let's say I've had a lot of exposure to professional.
Trish, before you take off, sorry to interrupt you, but let's address your sister's question because it reverts back to your family, what you did as a child. It says, "Hi, I'm Trish's sister. Ask her about our tree."
Okay, there's probably 2 stories there. Okay. Is it the one that, okay, there's 2 stories, so I'll try to, all right. I know there's 2 funny stories because we have a lot of funny stories. My family is very colorful, just to let you know.
Sure, Carla, I'll let you know if it's not the right one.
Yeah, one is where my father got 2 trees that were ugly trees and tied them together and made one tree out of them.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. I told you we had a modest. What do you mean? Okay. So, but here's the other thing. And I don't know, we kind of had this discussion when we were living in Pittsburgh. First of all, my sister's 10 years younger than me, so she was born in California.
Your sister, Carla.
Yes,
Okay.
Carla. She was born in California. I was born in Pennsylvania. But in Pennsylvania, as a child, we always got our tree on Christmas Eve.
A lot of folks did back then.
And yeah, that's what I said. We always put it up on Christmas Eve. And when we woke up in the morning, we woke up to the lights were on, and it was just so exciting because the tree had not been sitting up for a month. And it was just so exciting because the tree was brand new and the gifts were under there and it was all lit up, and that was our tradition. Yeah, it was very magical. Exactly. So then we moved out to California, and it was really surprising to me, having lived in Pennsylvania, and I was about 10 years old when we moved to California, and then all my friends had these trees in their living room for like months at a time. Well, we still had the tradition in my family of putting our tree up on Christmas Eve. Well, my sister, being born there, she never knew that tradition. And she thinks that, and it may be partly true, that my father went and got our tree on Christmas Eve because sometimes the tree lots were closed in California by that time. So he either got it for free or he got it really cheap. So the question is, do people put their trees up on Christmas Eve because it's tradition, or is it because they couldn't afford to buy one before Christmas Eve?
Could be one or the other, exactly.
Carla said it's true.
It's true. Laugh out loud.
That's the one. I knew that was what she was talking about. So what do you guys think? Is it a tradition, or is it because they're cheaper on Christmas Eve?
My tree stays up all year long. I have a Christmas tree in my office right there that's up all year long, and I got one in my house up all year long.
But my father was very creative. That's where I got my creativity from. Because seriously, he did. He went out one year and he got 2 trees that they left on the lot, and they were probably the ugliest trees on the lot. And he brought them home and tied them together and made a tree out of it. And that's a true story. But hey, you know what? It was a beautiful tree once it was decorated.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, you can take a skimpy tree and make it really look nice with all the goodies on it, for sure.
All right, Scott.
All right.
Oh, okay. So it's
Back to
Scott's
my
question.
question.
Oh, okay, yeah. So my little experience in the entertainment industry.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so back in the 80s, my daughter was a child actress, and she was doing like commercials and theater and film projects, that kind of stuff. And so people would come to me and ask me, how does she do this? And, how do we get my kid into this and that kind of thing? And there was a woman by the name of Dorothy Day Otis. And at the time, she was one of Hollywood's most respected agents for young professionals. And she was my daughter's agent. And I got very friendly with her, and I used to work with her in her office. And then when she left her agency, I actually worked with her in her home in Calabasas. And I used to refer people to her because these people were all asking me, what do you do? How do you get your kid on commercials and this kind of stuff? So one day Dorothy came to me and she said, why aren't you're referring all these people to me? Why aren't you managing them? And I said, Dorothy, I'm just helping them out. I don't know how to manage. And she said, what do you mean? You're already managing them. Because I was telling them, how do you get a photographer? This is the acting class you need to take. This, and I was giving them all this advice. And I said, well, I don't know, Dorothy. And she said, you know what? And she was your typical go-getter Hollywood agent. and she said, you know what? You need to be managing these people. She said, I was a manager before I became an agent. I'm going to get you all my contracts and you're going to start managing these people. You need to be making a commission on this. So she got me all her management contracts. She ended up mentoring me. And that led into me having a client roster of anywhere from 25 to 30 clients of mainly children and a few young adults at any given time. And I had kids on commercials, TV, film, theater, some modeling and print, that kind of stuff. I did that for a little over 10 years. And prior to that, I was a human resources manager, and my specialty was talent acquisition. So once I stopped managing kids there for a while, and I went back into human resources management as a talent acquisition manager. I was working for a company called CKE, which if you're not familiar with it, it's Carl Karcher Enterprises, Carl's Jr., also known as Hardee's. So I was working there in talent acquisition, and then I got a call from a recruiter at Live Nation Entertainment. I wasn't really looking for a job, and Live Nation called me and said, we saw your resume on LinkedIn, and we have a position here for a talent acquisition manager. We'd like to talk to you. So I thought, well, this sounds kind of interesting. So, and Live Nation, if you're not familiar with them, they're the largest concert promoter in the world. If you've been to any concerts, I mean, any A-list musician, or I mean, you name it, they're with Live Nation. So I go down to Hollywood and do this interview, and I got the job. So then that was my foray in the music industry, and that was the job that I left. My last job before I retired and came to Texas. But most of my experience was more in the film and theater is real. My specialty is really theater. Theater is where I have most of my experience, and I'd say a tiny bit of experience in the music industry. And so that's kind of, I guess, where I saw, I observed and learned a little bit.
Or a little bit there. And that kind of brings us to the next question. Did you have any training before jumping in with both feet as a Mrs. Claus, or acting, or what professional schools or training have you attended since becoming Mrs. Claus? I think that's a better question.
Well, when I was in college, I took a couple acting classes, but it was strictly for fun. I mean, this was like way before any inclination of ever like working in the entertainment industry or having a daughter that was going to do anything. Or it was just, when you're in college and you have electives and you're like, oh, I think I'll take an acting class. That sounds like fun, It was strictly for fun. So I took a couple acting and playwriting classes in college. And other than that, just because, I did work in the industry, I've been to acting classes with my clients and with my daughter. And I've been on film sets and around professional actors and just observing them, So I guess from all the years of watching others do it, not me myself do it, I guess it must have somehow sunk in somewhere, I don't consider myself an actor at all. I like to ham it up here and there, but it's somewhere in there, I guess.
So what kind of training have you had since you've gotten into the industry as Mrs. Claus? I know
Well,
of one.
yeah, and let's say that for last because I want to talk about that.
Okay.
I went to Lone Star Santa's Roundup.
Uh-huh.
And that was in Plano, Texas.
Yeah.
And I attended ISC, International Santa's Convention. Celebration. Okay. That was in Memphis, Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
And then I also went to Santa Family Reunion, of course.
Yeah,
Gatlinburg.
Years.
But I
I
wanted to say the best for last, okay?
Okay.
So, okay, I gotta tell you guys. I was the lucky scholarship earner of North Pole Cornerstones. Thanks to Bob and Deanna and all this team. I don't know who all voted, but I was just lucky and I got it last year. And we went to San Antonio, Texas. And it was so much fun. And I met some really, really special people. Can I say who they were? Oh my God, there she is.
She's got a comment right here. Angie Ellison says, Trish is such an amazing Mrs. Claus. She is a mentor herself. She has taken the time to pour into me. Love her dearly with a great big heart.
You know what? I cannot even tell you how much I love this woman. I absolutely adore you, Angie.
Her and
adore you.
Her husband, Russell.
And Russell.
People.
Okay, we have this little joke. Russell's my twin because Russell and I, we have so much in common. Okay, so at North Pole Cornerstones, we did this activity where we did a craft night and we were on the same team and it was so much fun. And Sherry and Larry Davis too. I love them. We had so much fun.
I know where you're going with this. This is funny.
Oh my gosh. About when Sherry got in camera, yeah. Anyway, so we did this craft and we really had, okay, I'm going to say it too. We really had the best one. Spangle, I don't know why you didn't vote for us. Here he goes. Look at him. Okay, no, no, we were laughing because we had a really good project. And then at the end of the, we had to make we had all these craft projects and we had to come up with a thing and then we had to talk about it and a backstory and we even like mentioned North Pole Cornerstones and we thought we had it in the bag, you know. Yeah. Anyway, so we got up and
Trish, let me break in here for just a second. I want you to know the winners of that night gave me a plate of cookies. You've only talked about giving me cookies.
So it was rigged. If Sherry's on here, or Larry, and I know that Angie and Russell are on here. Hey guys, did you hear that? It was rigged. It was rigged. Now we know. Now Spangle. Shame on you,
Spangle. You know what they say. The best way to a judge's heart is through his stomach.
Okay. You know what? Next year, cookies. And I make good cookies. So just remember that.
You could always bring them to School of Santa's in July.
Well, I wish I could. Anyway, so anyway, we connected and so then we just had so much fun there and so then we all went to dinner and Russell and I sat there and we realized that we just we talked, oh yeah, me too, you too, me too, yeah. And
says that she's my female twin.
I am. He's my male twin all the way. Like we are just male and female version of each other. And then, there's Larry. Hi, Larry. Yeah. Did you hear that, Larry? They cheated. Well, Spangle, he was.
Hey, you know what? This is a good time for me to try to change the subject. So before we go to break in the second half of our program, where we're going to switch gears. You are a solo Mrs. Claus. Is there something you want to tell other Santas? You need them to know.
Well, I just say, since I am solo, if you guys need a Mrs. Claus, you know, and you want to reach out to me, just look for me on Facebook, Mrs. Claus, the Evergreen Queen. And then I also want to tell Mrs. Clauses that if you're anywhere in the North Texas area, we do have a monthly meeting that we're going to be meeting probably 8 times a year. And if you want information on that, we have a really good group of ladies. There's just a few of us. If it ever grows, we'll move it somewhere bigger. But right now we just meet at my place, and we just have a lovely little meeting, and we talk everything Mrs. Claus, and we help each other. And I gotta tell you, just always know that the Claus community is very generous in helping each other. And while I say that, I do want to mention 2 people I don't want to forget, because when I first started here, there's 2 people that helped me a lot. And I gotta mention, there's a guy down in Nashville, Tennessee. He's a Santa, and I actually met him in one of the Facebook groups. His name's Steve Harris. You know him? And he was very helpful. He, directed me to some different agents and told me about IBRBS and, some of the other groups. And then Darla, Mrs. Claus Dallas, I got my first dress from her. So, don't be afraid to reach out to people, because it's a very helpful community. And I'm just thankful for particularly those 2 people. And had I not, met them, I was really blind. I didn't know, I really didn't know what I was doing. So don't be afraid to ask people for help.
And Darla, she will reach out and help anybody, but especially the Mrs. Claus side. She's the top mentor in North Texas. But it goes further than that. She's helped people all across the country. Not a lot of people. She's not out there on Facebook a lot and in social media. So there are people in the community that don't know about Darla. But I tell you what, those of us here in North Texas, we definitely do. So
yeah,
she's very generous and a heck of a performer.
And then I absolutely say, you get on the social media sites. There's a wealth of information, and particularly the TNL network. If you want to learn, watch the shows.
So Angie has already put up those links there, Scott. So
yeah, I was going to say this, Bob. Talking about Darla. Darla came up and worked with me, and that taught me more than I had ever learned at School of Santas, North Pole Cornerstones, or anywhere else, how to work with a Mrs. Claus. She took me by the hand, and this was early in my career, and took me by the hand, and I felt like I was married to the woman. She just made me feel. She danced with me in front of the people, and she said, "Come on, dear, let's dance." And Darla is just, I can't say enough good things about Darla. She is an amazing Mrs. Claus. And Mrs. Claus, if you need any kind of mentoring or any kind of direction or have a question, Darla is the person, Mrs. Claus Dallas to reach out to. She's an amazing lady.
Well, she's an acting coach and has acting classes for children. She's a singing coach. She can work with you and
she's just gracious and just so giving, and she's just a lovely, lovely woman.
And I was fortunate enough to have her as an instructor for the first 2 years that I was teaching Satbox classes. She came on. Gordon had never had extra folks, and it was just him always solo teaching. And I wasn't sure if he was going to let me bring other people in to do segments. And I told him, he said, "That's really do what you want to. It's your class now." And so I reached out to Darla first thing and said, "Come teach with me." And she did. And we went to Shreveport, Louisiana. We went all kinds of places. It was a lot of fun. Her and Mark, again, are quality people. So,
yep.
All right, I think this is a good place to jump off here. Let's take a break and relax for just a moment. We're going to do our Stuff for Santa commercial, followed by a Showstopper special and our second trivia. We'll be right back.
Hello there. Yes, of course, it's me, Santa Claus. Now, you may not believe this, but one of the questions I get asked the most is, well, not how do I do it all in one night? No, but where do I get all my things from? Yes, now, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the finest things I have. My glorious gloves, all my knickknacks and trinkets and things. Yes, all the giveaways. Yes, for me to give to the children before the main event. Yes, if I see them in the streets, if they come and see me, I like to have something in my pocket I can treat them with. Yes, and there's one special place where I can find all these magical goods. And that is, of course, stuffforsanta.com. You should head there now and see what magical gifts you can find. Mrs. Claus, have you got my ice pad? Yes, log me on. I'm going to have a look. I shall see you there. Stuffforsanta.com. Merry Christmas.
All right, tonight the trivia.
Oh, yeah, she was on our team too.
Okay, the trivia question or the prize for the trivia thing is this. We're not going to tell you. The special that we're offering is we're not going to tell you. If you've been watching me on Facebook, I've been advertising about a special thing, $29. You send that in. We're going to send you 2 packs of these things. And I wasn't telling nobody. We got about 15 people that have went ahead and ordered them. I think they're very cool. Get a hold of me. I'll send you a link. It's $29. We're still not going to tell you what it is until these people have a chance to get them. They are here. They are shipping out tomorrow. And the winner's going to get some too.
Sweet.
And we're also going to add a free gift in there for everybody. So are you a gambler? Anyways, the trivia for tonight in the Golden Books. In the Little Golden Book, based on Walt Disney's Donald Duck's Christmas Tree, Donald Duck chops down the home of 2 chipmunks. What is the name of the 2 chipmunks? And what character throws 2 shiny balls at Pluto? Okay, so in the Little Golden Book, based on Walt Disney's Donald Duck's Christmas Tree, Donald Duck chops down the home of 2 chipmunks. What is the name of these 2 chipmunks? And what character throws 2 shiny balls at Pluto?
Very good. You know what, Spangle? That was something we were going to play earlier, and we got so caught up in having fun and the show and all. I think we're going to play this video real quick. I think you're going to get a kick out of it, and I think everybody else will too.
Didn't see that.
Hello, jingle lovers. It's me, Noelle the Elf, your peppermint-fueled, spreadsheet-loving, tinsel-covered bookkeeper from the North Pole, and I'm popping in with a big old thank you hug, the glittery kind, for our holly jolly heroes at Tuesday night. Live! Seriously, y'all. You are the candy canes in our cocoa, the sparkle on our sleigh bells, the snowplow that keeps this Christmas train running on time. From your joy, your laughs, your updates, your surprises, you bring the kind of cheer that even makes the reindeer stop and say, wow, that's impressive. And on behalf of all of us at the School of Santas, the Clauses, the elves, the reindeer wranglers, and even that one guy still stuck in his chimney pants, thank you for everything you do. You are the one of the reasons we're slaying it year after year. So keep jingling, keep giggling, and remember, if it's Tuesday and it's live, we're watching, cheering, and throwing candy canes at the screen, lovingly, of course. Thanks for keeping the magic merry, bright, and hysterical. We love you.
Oh, that's cute.
Is that not cute or what? I mean, she tickles me. She's funny. I want to say thanks to Santa Mel for that. Also known as Santa Noel. Of course, I ain't going to tell them why there's no L.
Because there's no L. Yeah. Now I'll give you a little clue, and we're going to ask Scott not to dance. Okay. That's a little clue to the question.
Yeah, that's a good clue. It's a good clue, and there's some good answers coming in. I don't know if they're correct 100%, but I did notice there was answers started popping in pretty quick. Okay, so let's move along to the second half of tonight's program with our featured guest, Trish Viszneki. All right, Spangle.
All right, Trish, we know you started, or you attended, excuse me, you attended the Santa Fe reunion. What other events have you attended?
Didn't I just say that?
Yeah, we did. We jumped ahead on that one a while ago. We kind of threw it in with that other question. So, but she had been to the Lone Star Santa Roundup where there's education, and it's kind of like a small convention in its own way, and you don't have to be a Lone Star Santa member, I don't think, to even go to these things. I know I went 5 or 6 years in a row, and haven't been in a couple of years, but they're always fun. And she went to ISA in Memphis summer before last, and in Santa Fe reunion last year. Now, real quick, since we mentioned Santa Fe reunion, there was a comment up here that AJ had put up right here.
Oh, hi AJ. Nice meeting you too. I love meeting all you guys. I mean, that's my thing. I just love just talking to all you guys when I see you out there.
Yeah, so his comment is, if you haven't read it, says he loved meeting Trish in Gatlinburg, and he loves the TikToks that she does. So,
oh, thank you so much.
I am wondering if we're not going to have a problem with the trivia tonight.
You think?
Yes, I think so.
What? Why?
I can't say because I don't know what we're going to do about the answer.
Okay, I'll tell you what we can do. Angela can put up the link, and folks can go over and research it from the link and see if they.
You want me to read it?
You got it?
You can read, Spangle?
Yeah, you want me to read it?
So have I got the second part wrong? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
yeah, it's the second part.
Okay. Well, then if I'm wrong, they're right.
No, they're still wrong.
Okay.
Because it says Disney does not list who throws the snowball.
I saw that comment too, or I saw that on something else. But again, if you go over to www.funtrivia.com, and there's a segment there for children's Christmas books. That's where I've got all these questions, the last 3 of these.
And the only reason I checked is because everybody was saying the other one. So I said, you know what?
I know. You're right. I seen that's what I'm saying. I was noticing there was some answers coming in, but I couldn't find any of them that had the exact right answer there.
No.
Somebody does?
When you deal with these two? When you deal with these two, they want to just spoil all the fun. They want to tell all the answers. They don't want to give them a chance to find the wrong answer. I mean, you know.
We just want to make sure everybody's having a good time. That's all that matters. All right, over to you, Scott.
Even though we knew Trish, it was Santa Family Reunion where she did something spontaneous that really caught Bob and my attention. Her explanation was it was a way to get to know people I didn't know and was a fun way to make people smile. This is where the big announcement we've been teasing you all with comes in. Trish, you want to break the news, or shall I?
You go ahead, Scott.
Well,
Scott, wait. What? I got just one thing to say first. Trish has a new tagline. Evergreen Queen on the scene. Now, with that said, Scott, go ahead and tell them.
TNL on the road has a new roaming reporter correspondent. Yes, it is Evergreen Queen on the scene.
Oh,
well, it's hard to say.
I'm gonna have to say it over and over.
But we're so excited to have her part of the team now, and she'll be traveling some with Bob and I and doing a lot of the live coverages, which will free Bob and I up to do a little more and to visit with people when we have a booth. So we're excited to have you on board, Trish.
So before you go, Trish, At this moment, we need to ask our viewers to please pray for Trish if she will be traveling with Bob and Scott. Okay, so can we take a moment of silence?
If
Okay,
people
go ahead,
only
Trish.
knew when Scott and I travel.
I'm a
If
little
they only knew.
scared. I was gonna say I'm excited, and now I'm a little scared. No, I'm really honored, and I'm really, really excited, and I think it's gonna be fun. I really love meeting all you guys out there, and I'm looking forward to being out there and talking to all of you. And if I don't find you, please come and find me. I mean, I'm gonna be out there looking for you, and if you have something you want to come and tell me, I mean, that's what I'm going to be there for, to meet you. And
we want to share your
Tell 'em
story with the
Tell them how
whole
we
viewing
found
audience.
out about all this.
What is it, Bob?
Tell them how we found out about
Well,
Trish's challenge.
Trish spontaneous interviews was so great and caught our eye with her TikTok channel. I mean, I was just like, I called Bob and said, Bob, we got to get her on board. We don't have to do this anymore. We got somebody that's professional and can do it and does it better than we do and won't be stumbling around like we are crazy. You know,
Well, and that'll again free us up to be at the
nothing working.
That'll free us up to be at the booth to be able to greet and meet and you know, do our live reports from there, and she can kick it to us and we kick it to her, and it's going to make for a much better program, and we are super stoked. Believe me, we are stoked. We're going to have so much fun.
Well, I really have fun with it.
We'll have now a real correspondent reporter. She's proved herself with TikTok, so we know that we've got the best now.
Oh,
okay, TikTok. How do you run that, and how have you made it different? Because it's not a traditional Christmas theme, but it's rather lightheartedly silly and quirky.
Yeah, that's me, lighthearted and silly, actually. Yeah, I just, my goal on my TikTok page is just hopefully to give someone a giggle. I mean, yeah, I'm not your average. I don't post Christmas carols every day. I do. It's got a Claus community theme to it. I have my TikTok videos where I go out. If I go to an event, I'll talk to Santas and Mrs. Clauses, and I have, I'd say, a large portion of my followers are from the Santa community. I'd say probably the majority of them, but I've also gained a lot of followers who aren't from the Santa community, and they reach out to me and they tell me, oh, I never knew this existed, and I really love watching the the videos of all the different Santas, and they really enjoy just I mean, I guess a peek into our world. And so I always keep everything very appropriate but fun. I'll sometimes I'll make fun of you guys. Sometimes I'll make fun of me, like I'll say, oh, that Santa, I wish he'd stop eating so many cookies. I'm tired of baking, and or I don't know, just keeping it lighthearted and fun, and I may talk about today is National Hot Dog Day, and I'll put a post of Santa eating hot dogs, or
well, today is National Tuesday Day.
I didn't hear you.
National Tuesday Day.
What's today?
National Tuesday Day.
Oh.
We got to have a special thing for everything. But Trish, I just want to add that your spirit and everything you do that we watch from Santa Family Reunion. I said, Bob will tell you, I called him and said, Bob, if we can get her to join this and go with us and have fun and interview these people, and we can spread that even on TNL on the network and do it live from there and get Spangle off the hook where we don't have to deal with him anymore, then we're probably really in a lot better shape. And I think our following will increase tenfold.
Well, I hope so. I will certainly do my best to make that happen, and that's what I'm hoping for. And you know, it's truly just having fun with the people and being authentic and um just making them feel comfortable. It's not, I'm never going to go up to them and be stiff or rigid or try to be so perfect. I want to go up to people and have a real conversation with them and just make them feel comfortable. And that's pretty much how I'm going to, and I think that's what you guys want.
Yeah.
So,
It's live coverage. It's live TV.
Yeah.
It's live coverage. That's what we want. We're looking for that. And I think even Spangle, although he doesn't, want to keep me except on the naughty list, but I think he agrees that you're an asset to the network, and we're glad to have you. So thank you for committing to come with us and be part of us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the compliments from you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Scott, my pronoun is him. Okay, so a couple of things. This must be your sister.
Yes, she is too. Thank you, Karen.
DeMuro?
Yes.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
okay,
that's
I'm terrible with last name.
An Italian
She
last
says,
name.
Laugh out loud. Congratulations. I'm praying for you, Mrs. Claus, one of your other sisters. Comes back to say, come to California soon so we can hear your beautiful voice singing. Now, that leads me to the next point. So I have mentioned on both Monday and Tuesday shows that Forbes, the Fraternal Order of Real British Santas, has invited TNL on the road to come out to cover their convention. And they don't want us to just do it half-heartedly not that we have in the past, but we've been so strapped that we really couldn't do the events that we've been to on the road just as yet. And that's one of the reasons we're bringing you in. But the cool part about all this is it's in February 2026, and you will be making the trip with us, and it will be a homecoming for you because Trish lived in Orange, California, and the Hilton Hotel, Doubletree, where the Forbes convention will be, is in Orange, in her neighborhood she grew up in. So it's going to be really cool. So Karen, get ready. She's coming.
I am coming. California, here I come. And guess what?
What?
February is my birthday.
Oh, wow.
So I'll be there early. Get your presents ready. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I do not need anything. You know me. I have too much stuff. No presents. And everyone knows how I am. I do not want presents.
Okay, so we've got another rhyme here to describe Mrs. Claus, Evergreen Queen can sing. So that's from your sister.
Sometimes.
An awesome job on social media as well.
Mm-hmm.
Trish, FYI, I lived in the city of Orange too.
I actually lived in Orange County, but Orange is my stomping grounds too. Yeah.
Yep, I lived in Orange County too.
Yeah, I lived in Huntington Beach.
Oh, I lived in Huntington Beach, Spangle. Before I moved here to Dallas, my last 15 years there were in Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
And I was in Yorba Linda before that.
All right. So let's go on to our viewers and see if they have any questions or comments.
Okay.
Got a few started here. We've actually been doing a lot of these as we go tonight. So go ahead, Spangle.
Peggy Sean Kent Clendenin says, very happy for you, Trish.
Hi, Peggy. So sweet. She's a sweet lady. Do you know Peggy?
I absolutely know her and Sean.
Yeah, she's
part of our Texas State Santas, part of our Lone Star Santas. And she drives a mean ice cream truck.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
I know.
But you got to watch Sean because he likes to get in the freezer and eat too many times. So you got to watch out for Sean.
Yeah, I met them they've come by and visited with me before.
They sure have out at the holiday
ice cream truck
disappeared.
Peggy's a real sweetheart. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Peggy.
Well, we want to say thank you to our contributors to the TNL family, King Risk Partners.
That's right. So if we can, we'll go ahead and play those real quick.
I also want
man, it's my turn, I guess, Bob. But thanks to Joey, this showed up in the mail. Well, I guess it's a little blurry. I don't know if I can get it right. But I got my pair of boots.
Back up, Scott.
Huh?
Back up.
In front of your face.
Put it in front of your face. There you go.
Cool.
But these are my boots that came from Joey and Caboose, and they are wonderful. He did a great job, and they came really early. I got them, ordered them at the Santa family reunion, and I am really tickled to death, and they are going to be so comfortable. I actually haven't got them put on yet, but I will be wearing them tomorrow and the next day just to start breaking them in. But Joey, thank you so much. We appreciate you, and thank you for all you do for TNL.
And Joey, we want to thank you also for making a pair of boots that Scott's got to put in front of him to see it clearly. So we thank you for taking Scott out of the picture.
Yeah, really.
Want a quality pair of boots? Joey at Caboose are the guys to go to, and we really appreciate all his help and contributions to make the show happen.
And his beautiful bride Priscilla. You cannot forget. You can't say Joey without
Maybe
Priscilla.
we should thank Priscilla and not Joey.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so next we want to throw up a few things that Angela wants to put up for Trish here. So we're going to pull this up. Mobcat Mondays. That's just the name of your group.
Actually, it's no Mobcat.
No, oh, good. Yeah, right there, yeah.
No, I don't know. Okay, kind of a little secret, not much of a secret, but if you're really a professional Mrs. Claus, you know what? We really don't like wearing Mobcat.
I've got to tell you, the moment that I asked my wife to go on the first Mrs. Claus gig with me, the very first words out of her mouth was, "I refuse to wear one of them Mobcats." I said,
yeah, that's kind of something you don't know until you become a Mrs. Claus. So it's kind of an inside thing, is that no.
Next image. All right, this is your Mrs. Claus, the Evergreen Queen logo.
My little logo.
That's your logo. Very cute. I like it. No mob hat there. All right, Angela. And next, this here is your TikTok channel, and this is the QR code. If anyone wants to scan with your phone, we'll leave it up for just a moment and give you a chance to scan it. Go over and check out Trish's TikTok. Oh my gosh, you're going to enjoy it.
It's wacky.
Yeah, it's fun.
Just a little wacky. Fun, wacky.
That's what it's all about.
Well, Trish, where did you come up with the Evergreen Queen, if you don't mind me asking? That's something that wasn't asked tonight. I'm just out of curiosity.
You know,
Come to mind this business.
you know, I when I first started, I saw these, everybody had like Grandma Claus, Mima Claus,
Candles.
Mary Claus, blah, blah, and I was looking at all this and I'm like, I really want something different. And then I'm like, well, what goes with Christmas? Christmas trees, this, that. And I thought Evergreen Queen. And then I gotta tell you, honestly, I thought when I came up with Evergreen Queen, the first thing I thought was, I am brand new to this. That's a little bit, what's the word? Like conceited thinking. Like I thought, they're gonna think, who does she think she is? A queen? You know what I mean? Like, so I had lunch with Darla, Mrs. Claus Dallas. And I said, Darla, I'm thinking of these names. And I said, I thought of this name, but I just kind of think it's sounding a little bit pretentious. I don't know. And I told her the name and she said, you have to use that. That is such a great name. I wish I would have thought of it. And she just went crazy over the name. And when I got her blessing on it, here she is. I'm looking at her as the queen of Mrs. Claus's, right? Yeah. And she gave me her blessing. And so that's when I decided that was going to be my name.
Well, and kind of the same thing. I got to tell you guys, she's humble and she doesn't like to boast about what she's done. And we started talking about the events and things earlier in the show. And when she was telling me this, when we was putting the show together, She said, but I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. I said, you're not bragging. You're telling them facts. You're telling folks how your journey has went. It's a journey. You started here. You went through these certain, jobs that you got, and now look where you're headed. And so not for a minute she did not want to brag about any of those great gigs that she's had. Don't you have to? That's what the show is all about. Come on. And so she's very humble, and that's one of the things we love about her.
Thank you.
And the other thing, Trish, you and I've had numerous conversations, and you were very nervous about coming on here. And you've done great, and I appreciate it. And I'm sure everybody loved your story, and you coming on board with us. Your background justifies why we brought you on. And that you're so amazing, and you're an amazing reporter. You proved that to us with all your TikTok interviews at Santa Family Reunion. And we want you to flourish with us, because the evergreen queen on the scene is awesome. Because you said to me, you told me that's what I'm going to use, the evergreen queen on the scene. And we love it with TNL Live. So, or on the road, TNL on the road. So folks, you're going to see a lot more reporting from different events that you haven't seen in the past, and some of our other crew are going to start picking up. If you looked up at the Reindeer Ranch with the Kringle brothers, they reported a bunch from up there live on their deal. What was a Red Suit Conclave? Is that what it was, Bob? And so stay on board with us, and don't forget to subscribe and like, and invite all your friends. It's really important to help us build this, and so we're more awareness in our entire community. So Trish is going to be a big part of this. So thank you. And Spangle, thank you for all you do, and Angela as well, producing all these shows. Y'all are amazing. And I'm going to shut up because I think we have some more starred comments.
Hey,
Well,
okay, go ahead, Bob.
no, you go ahead.
Well, I'm getting some text messages. People are saying that they've been sitting around waiting for the answers on the trivia.
That's where we're headed to. Real quick, I want to say that 5 years of a journey with TNL started off Set Bob's Live. We went to the Tuesday Night Live show. We broke out of that branding and started using TNL. TNL is the brand now that everybody knows. TNL Productions into TNL Network Productions, and now TNL on the road. So we're continuing to grow, continuing trying to do this community a great service, and we appreciate everyone's help in doing so. Tonight's trivia answers, schoolofsantas.com for the scholarships in the Little Golden Book, Elmo's 12 Days of Christmas. What does my true love give to me on that seventh day? That would be 7 monsters swimming. And that was written by Sarah Albee and illustrated by Maggie Swanson. Winner?
Paul Anderson.
Paul Anderson up in Canada. Congratulations, Paul. And I'm sure we'll do it the same way we've always done. We'll throw your name in a hat and wish you good luck on it. All right, StuffForSanta.com in the Little Golden Book, based on Walt Disney's Donald Duck's Christmas tree. Donald chops down the home of the 2 chipmunks. What is the name of those 2 chipmunks? And Spangle's clue was Chip and Dale. And Dale throws the shiny ball at Pluto. Now, yes, there was a post that said Disney never said. And I saw that also, but again, over there on the one that I got the questions and answers off of, says that it was Dale that threw it. Angela?
That was Peggy Sean Clendenin.
Peggy and her son Sean wins that one. Fantastic. So Spangle's going to send them a surprise. Have you got Peggy's address?
I don't, so she'll have to reach out to me and get it to me. So
she's here also in North Texas with us. We got a very large family here.
Yeah,
we are very lucky. Maps in the North Texas area are blessed, and that we have a lot of members in the Claus community. Okie dokie, Spangle, what is your closing thoughts for the night?
My closing thoughts on tonight was that on the Chip and Dale question, that I am glad that Scott did not take that clue to heart and give us a demonstration.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we did not catch a couple of those that were starred that has come in. Peggy Clarendon also says that She may not like the mop hat, but if her client's version of Mrs. Claus is with the mop hat, then she will wear it. And that's a
Yeah,
good
we
point.
have to.
You gotta give the client what they want.
Absolutely. And Peggy, please don't take offense. Obviously, I mean, if a client makes me wear it, I have to wear it, you know. But I'm just saying, in general, us Mrs. Clauses, we don't like wearing that.
Well, and Rick Rector says his wife absolutely refuses to be Mrs. Claus at all, and part of it is the reason she doesn't like the hat. So
yeah,
and she jokes with her, it's Santa and Mrs. Grinch.
Well, let's put it this way: if we can avoid it, we avoid it, and usually we can avoid it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I'd like to thank our featured guest tonight, Trish Viszneki.
Thank you, Spangle. It's been my pleasure.
And don't forget to watch all the TNL Network production, a list of shows for 2025.
All right, we got Bob and Phoenix on Mondays.
Sean White. Sean White, the Claus Connect, new time on Mondays at 6.
Wednesday night's Kringle Time with the Kringle Brothers. This week episode, What's in the Bag, Scott?
And Santa's Magical Fellowship Group. Join Santa Mel this week for 2 full hours with the ladies from Cherry Hill Programs.
Tune in, kick up your heels, join in the fun for 2025, all powered by TNL Network Productions. Trish, have you had fun?
Absolutely.
Are you nervous?
Hey, my nerves went away.
There you go. I told her they would. Thanks to schoolofsantas.com, stufforsanta.com, kinginsurance.com, npcornerstones.com, santanana.com, nationwidesantas.com, caboose.com, and cherryhillprograms.com. Tell everyone good night, Spangle.
Good night, Spangle.
Tell everyone good night, Scott.
Good night, Scott.
Trish.
Remember to join us for our next Tuesday Night Live each week, 7 p.m. Central. Same Claus time, same Claus channel.
Count your blessings, not your sorrows. Have a blessed week on behalf of everyone and Trish and the whole TNL production crew. I'm Santa Bob McMaster saying good night. See you guys later. Come back and see us again. We've had fun. Good night, all.